Washington to tax digital ads and tech services. Starting October 1st, Washington State expanded its sales tax and business and occupation tax to cover digital advertising, custom website development, IT services, live presentations, and temporary staffing. Live presentations, that's interesting. This includes online ad services like search engine marketing, campaign management, and traffic monitoring, which were previously exempt. For Amazon sellers, this could raise the cost of running ads, developing websites, and using tech services if they operate in or purchase services tied to Washington. Compliance will become more complex, and sellers should track expenses carefully, consider tax automation tools, and monitor legal challenges to the law, as companies like Comcast are already contesting it. And of course, as we know, if one state starts doing this, often there's a snowball effect, or companies will just choose to tax everybody because it's easier. So to me, this is a pretty big one and definitely not a good thing. But what are your thoughts?
Isn't Amazon in Seattle, right? So the law
yes.
can be simply, we can't apply it everywhere, but we can apply it to the state that they're headquartered in and apply it that way. The live presentation makes me think about live selling, like TikTok Shop Live or Amazon Live.
Oh yeah, that's probably what they're talking about.
That's probably what they're talking about. The live presentation part, it just sounds funny. But it sounds like they are trying to tax Amazon advertising. Comcast is a drop in the bucket compared to Amazon advertising to me. So who are they going after? I don't think it's just the sellers that happen to be in Washington State. So what will that permeate to? Because if Amazon's getting taxed, we're going to be the ones to fill it, right? Like we will,
for sure.
Getting taxed, they're going to pass it on to us one way or another.
Yeah, it's and it's also interesting too, and it doesn't say in the summary here, so I'd have to look at the bill more. But I wonder, who exactly are they taxing? Would they be taxing like me when I run the ads, or are they taxing Amazon based on the total revenue that they take in from ads? I would have to lean towards it being an individual tax on each person who's running the ad. So if I'm based over here in South Carolina, would I get taxed on my ads just because Amazon is?
How do we on Amazon? We can't choose where we run them, right? So I can't say that I'm not running a sponsored product ad in Washington to a customer.
Yeah.
So would it be on the orders that happen in that state and tracking them to like running an ad and then they purchase in that state, kind of like TaxNexus or however that applies. Definitely food for thought. I don't have an answer on that. I don't know what that would look like.
Yeah, to me, a lot of this is to me is taxation without representation, right? Like for example, I get income tax bills from California because I sell products into the state, but I don't have any power to elect someone to represent me there. So they're taxing me and I have zero representation. So to me, it's unconstitutional and illegal what they're doing, but so far nobody's challenged them on it that I know of. But it sounds like this one's definitely going to be challenged because it's making a lot of waves out there, and Amazon is not going to just roll over on it, I don't.
No, like what you just said, taxation without representation is like what this country was founded on in regards to like, our independence. And I take a little pride in that as family has all those badges and certificates of family fighting in those wars. But as freedom gets taken away from us a little bit more each year, truly it does. At what point is it like this is a problem? And the problem is that like it just costs so much money. You almost have to be a big player to then go fight against it. But I mean, I'm a small company and I'm getting taxed in California. I have quite a few clients from California, so I'm specifically, and they went back years on me. It wasn't like, so they passed some new law, but they went retroactively, went back and like, was tracking certain things. So I've been getting bills from California for the last few years in regards to tax. And I just didn't think about it as like, look, I'm not allowed to vote there. So,
Mhm.
that is a big deal and a perspective I hadn't seen before. I just, we'll see. I remember when the tax nexus laws came out, and me and my business partner at the time, I own the company by myself now, but I had a partner at the time, and we try to do everything the right way, So we were like legitimately, we almost stopping sellers at the time with some of the brands we were building because we were just like filing in all of these states is like
Yeah,
insanity.
it was insane for a while. Yep.
Till everyone figured out what to do, kind of like with COVID, right? Everyone's just like, what do we do? Like with the tax nexus laws, it was like, how do we officially do this? Before there was software to track everything. And we were literally filing in every state that we had sales, and it was getting crazy. So who knows how this will be before it settles down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. That's for sure. And I've already seen that there's several legal challenges. In the article, they talk about Comcast, but I believe there was some like an attorney general that was filing a lawsuit as well that I seen, and a couple others. So it's there's definitely going to be a lot of pushback on it for sure.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure Amazon's not going to just say, yeah, sure, we'll pay. For every, if it's in Seattle, it's all originating there, to my knowledge. So, I don't consider myself a tech service or a digital ad service, like as a marketplace agency, but we do a level of that. So like, what does it come down to? Is it actually like being the seller? Is it being the service provider? Or is it, in other ad types, like you buy real estate, so to speak, like, if you're doing TV, you're buying positioning. On Amazon,
yeah,
it's just quite a bit different.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I found this one other article here, which was kind of an opinion piece from the Washington Policy Center, which
Okay.
I don't know much about them, but the summary on that just says Washington State's new digital advertising tax expands sales tax to nearly all online advertising services while sparing traditional media, creating an uneven playing field. Comcast has already sued, arguing the law violates the federal Internet Tax Freedom Act. So that's interesting that they exempted traditional media. So I would assume that's like newspapers and things like that, so that they don't have to pay taxes on their ad revenue, but Amazon does.
That sounds like a personal fight that we're going to get wrapped up in.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
policymakers there for sure.
Yeah, going to be interesting to watch. We've got a couple questions here in the chat that we can bring in. This one from Deepak. He's asking how are check-in times this time of year. I haven't seen too much of a delay yet in FBA, but AWD, you can't get anything in currently at all. It's full. So how have you seen anything?
Well, I'm in the Midwest, but we have brands all over the world, obviously shipping into California, East Coast and West Coast. But I run a 3PL here in Kansas City, a full service warehouse in 3PL. And our check-in times have been, outside of Prime Day in July, like they've been pretty smooth. And I like, at least here in Kansas City, we go to a big distribution hub in Illinois. That's like generally like our shipments go from KC here in Missouri to Illinois, and it's smooth. It's a big operation there. It's all about transit there. I feel like on the coast, it's a little bit longer. I think there can be, a week to 2 weeks more, just depending on how much you're selling and how much you're shipping in. If you're shipping in LTL, or if you're shipping in, like UPS boxes, like case packs and stuff like that. Obviously, the case pack size UPS box are way faster, way faster. So just depends on, with each brand, it's brand specific to what type of products they're selling, how far behind or ahead we are on inventory. Are we starting off, or are we just like supplementing stuff like that? So it's kind of a moving target. Good question, but it feels like a moving target to me.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're just getting into Q4, right? The busy season hasn't officially started yet. So, I mean, technically you're supposed to have your products in by now, according to Amazon's deadlines, but a lot of people are still going to be streaming stuff in here in October and even in November, and you're still going to get checked in and received. most likely. It's just not guaranteed, is what they say.
Let's talk AWD. Like, we have a few customers in AWD, not nearly as many as even some of my other agency owners that I talk with, or brands. What are your options if you have a product primarily in AWD and they're full?
Yeah, if you got product in there already, they're obviously refilling FBA for you, so that function's still going on. But right now, you just can't send anything into AWD, so you pretty much just have to send everything to FBA and pay the placement fee, or split it into that 5 or more shipments. That's really your only option, other than, well, you probably want to use like a 3PL or something as well if you've got a large volume of stock. But right now, you just got to send everything into FBA, unfortunately.
So can you have a product, let's say you have a product in AWD right now. Let's say you have 5 pallets there, but it's not going to be enough for holiday, but they're not accepting more right now. Yep. Are you able to have an ASIN in AWD and also have it in FBA at the same time?
Yes. Yeah, that's not a problem, because the ASIN that's in FBA is just getting refilled from AWD. It's just essentially backup storage. So that one ASIN is connected to both FBA and AWD. So you can still send into FBA and everything, no problem. You just have to time it correctly and make sure you don't get a huge storage bill here in Q4, because rates are going up here in 5 days to the high level. So
yeah, so that, building my own brands, that was one of the reasons I launched our 3PL and warehouse was, there's so much profitability lost and found in warehousing and how you package and kitting and bundling and all of that. And are you running lean inventory? Are you, there was a time in the past where we'd ship whole containers and let them sit at Amazon because it was cheap enough to do so. It was cheap enough to send a whole container and sit there for 9 months selling through the product.
Yes,
it really was. And now, you need to be 45 days at most, in my opinion, and just constantly sending in shipments and being efficient in that way, because the storage fees can just, sell through rate and all those things really start to hit you. If you don't think that all those metrics matter, then you're wrong. Like when it comes down to Amazon scoring your listing and giving you visibility and sell through and all of that, it comes down to, I think, the efficiency across the board, not just on the sell side. So
yeah, they're taking all of that into account now, especially with the moving into more and more of the world of AI. It's going to really be taking all those metrics into account, because it's just going to be more easy to do so. It can take all of those metrics and come up with some kind of scoring system very quickly. And you don't necessarily have to create algorithms all the time for that stuff.
Right. Less guesswork, and just knowing. I've always thought of it as like, you have 100 dials, and it's just about trying to dial in the different areas, whether it's traffic or conversion. And I think inventory and inventory amounts has to do with traffic and conversion as much as images or having the right keywords or price point.
Yep. Yeah, AI is huge. I know I still have lots of times where I'm working on something and I'll be like halfway through it and I'm like, wait a minute, why don't I just throw this into AI and I don't have to try to figure out these spreadsheet formulas and everything. It'll just do it all for me. And then, a minute later, I'm like, okay, I'm done.
I'm living and breathing the spreadsheet help, at least.
Yes.
It's not
the same,
but I am using it for sure when it comes to data analysis and, stuff we used to have to do with concatenating Excels, and we don't have to do anymore.
Yes, it's big. Merging 2 spreadsheets together is so much easier with AI versus trying to, figure it out in a spreadsheet. Much nicer, for sure.